Hey guys, welcome. But as I was saying, what is happening between Nengi and Kiddwaya? Remember that party that it looked as though, something fishy happened in the bathroom? We saw the actual clip and child. Let's not get into that first. This is the BBNaija reunion broadcast brought to you by every NG, and I'm here to give you all the juicy details in case you missed it on everything that happened, in today's episode, and it was a lot to unpack, to be honest. So first up, we started talking about Watoni and Kiddwaya, and Tochi was like, I feel like Watoni liked Kid, but Kid didn't want her. He didn't like her. I'm like, oh, we're starting with this again. And Watoni went all on about, how she just was using Kid for cruise. She didn't really like him. That she had to pick. So here she indicted herself somewhat because she was talking about, not liking Kid like that and stuff. I thought she was like, if there was an opportunity, you would have chased Kid. And then she said that, if she had to pick between Kiddwaya and Prince, she would definitely pick Prince. And I thought she was like, wait. But yesterday you were saying you didn't like Prince and it wasn't your type. So where is all this contradiction coming from? I'm just like, yeah, there was a cut. So they kept on going back and forth. And Tricky T wasn't even on Watoni's side with this one because he said that Watoni liked Kid based on she needed a go-to person, and then Kid, of course, being the flirty person that he is, kind of led her on in a way, so she felt comfortable enough to rely on him for some sort of emotional support or something like that. And I was just like, so now Kiddwaya, that has been the onlooker all this while, is now the center of attention. I say, okay, let's move on and see what is happening here. So Watoni said that there's a wrong narrative between her and Kid, that Kid is a flirty person, and everything started with that truth or dare game that made everybody feel like, oh, maybe she liked Kid, that she didn't like Kid like that. And that was where she said the thing about picking Prince over Kid. And then Tochi, what do you say, sis? Because I don't understand what you're talking about, I don't understand what you're talking about. And then Watoni used a particular statement that was a bit disrespectful, if you're being honest. She called Kid the community guy. Was Kid the community guy? Was Kid the community guy? Let's be honest ourselves. Drop a comment if you think that Kid was the community guy. So she said that, and Kid was like, oh, you can say whatever you want about me, but I know myself, and you're not going to change how I feel about myself just because you feel like, oh, I'm the community guy or something like that. Like, it's not going to change nada. And then, she went on and on about how the narrative was being pushed and she didn't really like Kid, and stuff like that. And then Kiddwaya admitted that he was flirting because, we all thought Kiddwaya was a flirt in the house. He admitted that he was actually flirting with Watoni, and maybe she was hers, but he didn't have the intention of being her because he didn't think of her to be that important and stuff like that. That whether she liked him, he didn't care. I'm like, okay, so jokes apart now. So what I don't understand is how Katrina got into this situation, because Katrina was basically talking and she kind of bought in. That's how I'll put it. She bought into the situation and said that, oh, that Kid, that that Nengi had intentions for Kid. And that was when she brought up that party that we were talking about. But she's like, oh, Nengi had intentions for Kid, and knowing about Erica, that she felt it was a tad bit disrespectful to Erica for her to do that, letting Kid caress her, letting Kid kiss her neck. She was leading Kid on, and because of Kid's nature, he was following suit. And Kaisha also bought in and said, Kid saying, because this is not the first time this is coming up, it has come up in different episodes, and Kid saying that, he could get Nengi if he wanted, came off as a bit disrespectful to Nengi. And Nengi was actually like, yeah, I want him to explain that because I don't get it. But we'll get into that explanation later. So, Kid Kiddwaya is in a lot of trouble because Watoni now said, oh, you're saying all these things, but Kiddwaya, do you remember? And then, okay, Ebuka asked Tochi, did Kiddwaya have any conversation with you about Watoni? And Tochi was like, no, nothing like that. Then Watoni came in and said, do you remember when you were talking to Kid about me and he said that you should go for me because I'm an easy catch? I'm like, hey, what is going on here? So yeah, she said that, and Tochi was like, but did I go for you though? And then it now moved from Kiddwaya and Nengi and Erica situation into Watoni and Tochi liking themselves, not liking themselves. And then Tochi went back and forth. They were going back and forth. Tochi was like, I don't even rate you, I don't like you. But I'm like, Tochi, let's not say that, because I remember when he was talking to Bright and saying that he liked he likes Watoni and Tolani Badge. Do you guys remember that conversation? Because I remember it vividly. So here he is coming out of the house and saying, no, I didn't like you. Okay, he was saying that, but did that go for you though? Did you fall? Who wanted to catch you? Nobody really wanted you. And I was just like, and Watoni was like, you can't go for me, I'm Queen Watoni. You can't get me. You will sweat. You're not up to par. I thought you were like, that all this one you're doing is shakara because nobody really wanted you in the house. I'm like, hey, you guys should calm down now. Where's all this bass coming from? Where's all this bass? So yeah, he said that, and I just felt like, is this even necessary? You guys did not have a relationship, so why do we feel the need to continuously pursue this situation? Like, it's really not necessary in my opinion. So she said that, and Kid was like, looking away. I don't care about what people are saying. I don't know about anything people are saying. And then Tochi now switched the tables and called Watoni community girl. I say, hey, church Agbasa. You know when they say church Agbasa, church have closed. That is the end of everything. Like, why would you say that? So he said it, and they were like, do you feel good? How would you? So I felt like Tochi was defending Kiddwaya in a way, and it's like, oh Watoni, if you feel like you were that hot, why didn't anybody go for you? I say, hey. Now after that, we now went into the main cocoa of the oro. Remember that I told you at the beginning that clip of, people were talking, Ozo and Nengi had an issue over the fact that she went into the bathroom with Kid and she was in a compromising position. Now Kayode has finally done something right. Kayode has finally redeemed. No, I won't say he has redeemed himself, but he's on his way to redeem himself in the eyes of Nigerians, because they showed the clip of Nengi when she was in the bathroom with Kid, and it did not look good, I must say, because the dress she wore that day was really tight, so it's understandable that she might have had issues undoing her zip, because that was what she explained, that she had issues undoing her zip and she needed to pee. It was a little bit off that, you and Kid were dancing so intensely at the party, you were whispering into each other's ears, and the next thing you swoop into the bathroom together. Ozo was there. You could have easily asked Ozo to help you undo your zip, but I'm not judging or anything. So she said that she had asked Kiddwaya, and Kiddwaya too wanted to pee at the time, so both of them went. However, in that clip where both of them were, you could see that Nengi undid her zip, pulled down her dress, pulled down everything, took it, and was running into the bathroom with Kid watching her. And it was such bad timing, because it was at the time she was running into the bathroom, and it didn't look good, to be honest, because Ozo and Neo were just coming in and she was running out. So it looks like maybe they cut a whiff of Ozo and Neo coming in, and then she quickly made out so that it doesn't look like, oh, she's doing anything with Kid. Plus, in the video, there was time that she turned, if people are undoing zip, it's from the back. There was time that she turned to Kiddwaya and was hugging him and being all caressy and smiling and all whatnot, and I was just like, this alcohol did so many things to so many people. Because now, coming out of the way to say, she wanted Ozo to be loyal to her, and then she did that. Ebuka asked her, so do you think that it was a bit off saying that you asked Ozo to be loyal to you and you were not, it didn't seem like you were loyal to him? And Nengi was like, provided that I wasn't asking him not to mingle with anybody. Kiddwaya was just my friend. It was nothing deep. It was just my friend, and I told Ozo to mingle with people provided he doesn't have any, like, if I see that they're just friends, then I don't have a problem. And I was like, okay, but I thought you didn't want Ozo in the house though, but you were going to be jealous if you saw that they were just friends. Plus, this video made it look as if what you and Kiddwaya were not just friends. So I can understand Ozo's anger, because when Ozo came in, Ozo actually came to pee with Neil. Ozo came in, he peed, and then he came out, and before he came out, Kiddwaya had already made off. So I'm like, I thought Kiddwaya wanted to pee as well. I didn't see him entering the bathroom. I didn't see him even pee. Okay, let's say he peed on the floor because he was drunk. None of that. So he went back to the party, and Ozo came out and asked Nengi. Okay, so when see, here's the funny thing. So Ozo was helping Nengi zip back up, and then when Ozo, I beg your pardon, Kiddwaya was helping Nengi zip back up, and then when Ozo came out of the bathroom, he just abandoned the zip and left. Like, and Nengi was like, seriously? So she turned to Ozo to now help her continue the job, and Ozo did. And he was asking what was going on here, and she's like, nothing. So I could tell that it's possible that she was tipsy or whatever the case is, because to some people like Katrina, I felt like she was pretending so that she would get herself out of that situation, because it was a sticky scenario. So she was like nothing, and also was like, are you sure? I also used that his famous line, I always tell people that you can always lie to yourself, but you can never lie. You can always lie to the world, but you can never lie to yourself. And I'm just like, Ozo. So yeah, that happened, and eventually they got past the situation, and it was just like, oh, stuff like that. So Kid was explaining himself and saying that the reason he said if he wanted to get Nengi, because then everything was now adding up and it was looking really bad. So the reason he said that if he wanted to get Nengi, he could get her, was because everybody was hounding him and saying, oh, do you like Nengi? What's going on with you and Nengi? This. So to him, he was saying it as in, if I really wanted to go after Nengi, I would have gone after her, like if I liked her in that way, but I don't. She's just my friend, So other people took it as, if I want to get Nengi, I'm rich, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a fly boy, jet setter, so I can get her. And even Nengi read the situation that way, so Kid felt the need to explain himself, which was understandable. So Nengi now brought up, Ebuka asked Nengi about her whole materialism thing, because if you remember very well, when in the second episode, when they were discussing people saying that, Neo saying that, oh, telling Prince that if you need to go after Nengi, you need to be financially stable. Nengi was like, at that point, after everything was settling down, she gave Neo a high five based on, you're actually correct. So Ebuka took a cue of that and asked her in this episode that, okay, so this whole materialism thing, is it like real? Like, are you really a materialistic person, or are we reading you wrong? Like, because you gave Neo a high five at that point. So I'm reading that you agree with him that if someone wants to approach you, the person has to be buoyant in some way. So Nengi was like that, Neo said a lot about having wealth and stuff, and I'm like, that's deviating. Are you materialistic? There's nothing wrong with that. If you are the kind of girl that likes the finer things in life, say it, speak it. Closed mouths don't get fed. So she said that, and she just deviated to Kid promising her this, promising her that, and being like coming off as the rich guy. And Kid was trying to deny it, and Aisha was like, not on my watch. Now she gave Kid instance. She was like, do you remember the time you were telling people that your father put some politicians on? Kid was like, yeah, that's power, not wealth. And I was like, I mean, no offense, but a poor man will not come and put somebody on. Like, it doesn't happen. If you have the kind of connect to put a politician on, then you must be wealthy. So Kid was like, oh, that didn't happen, that was just wealth. Kasha was like, okay, what about the time where you said your father discovered Banana Island? And Kid was like, oh, me, I didn't say that. And I was like, that painting time is looking like you said it at that painting time. So she was like, oh, you said that your father had Banana Island, he discovered Banana Island, and Kid was like, no, I never said that. My father said that himself. And then there was another part where she said, Kaisha asked, okay, but you're promising people money here and there. Because I remember vividly that Kid kept on promising Tolaniba that he would pay her rent when she moves from Ajah to wherever she wants to move to. And there were a lot of promises here, like, oh, we'll link up in London, we'll link up with this. So Kaisha now asked Nengi for support, and Nengi was like, I can't remember the money base, but I know he promised me trips. And Kid was like, yeah, I promised you a trip, right? So that whole clip thing, when it happened, Katrina was like, because remember earlier, Katrina said she felt like Nengi was doing the most and being disrespectful to Erica, knowing that she likes Kid and then allowing Kid to caress her. So after that clip was played, Katrina was like, I knew it. Something happened for sure, and you people are denying it. Now you're making me look crazy, but look at the clip here showing it. And Nengi was like, what are you saying? What are you saying? But before that, Tochi and Katrina, they don't see eye to eye. So Tochi jumped in to defend Kid as per, why are you talking to my guy like that? Stop it, stuff like that. And Katrina was like, first of all, I wasn't talking to you, and the clip shows what I was saying, obviously. And Tochi was like, but alcohol was involved. I'm like, hey, this alcohol. Now, so basically both of them, both Nengi and Kid, were now saying that, they were drunk, they just went to pee. I'm like, Kid, I didn't see you pee though, but they just went to pee and stuff. And Katrina was like, okay, so Nengi, why did you take off your dress in front of him? You're saying you didn't have anything with this guy. He helped you unzip. You couldn't take the unzipped dress into the bathroom to change. You removed everything in front of him. You were only wearing your underwear, and then you were sashaying in front of him and walking away. Like, how did that look? That didn't look good. So Nengi was like, I don't even remember. So Ebuka asked, okay, while you guys were in the club, the party room, you whispered to Kid before you guys moved into the bathroom. What was that about? Nengi was like, I don't remember. Kid was like, I don't remember. I'm like, somebody's lying. Somebody's lying. Somebody is definitely lying. So both of them denied anything, and they were just like, oh, they just went to pee. And then Ebuka asked you, okay, so why did you and Ozo come in? Is it because you noticed that Nengi and Kid were not there, or there was something else? And he was like, Ozo just said he wanted to pee. That was what he told me. So I escorted him, and Ozo was like, yeah, I just wanted to pee. So I didn't really catch what happened. But from that clip, Ozo saw Nengi running off. And he definitely saw her, like, the way she was dressed, which was why he came out and asked her, like, what was going on here. But he was trying to play the cool guy of, oh, no, nothing, I just believe her. Ebuka was like, do you believe her? Because he asked her, like, 3 times. And also was like, yeah, I believe her. I told her that whatever she tells me, I believe. I'm like, okay. So Kiddwaya mentioned something, and I thought they were not allowed to talk about the rules that Biggie gave them, because Kiddwaya mentioned that, oh, in the rule book they are not allowed to do anything in the bathroom, and Big Brother said if they do anything illegal, like not illegal per se, but if they do anything funky, you know, like being sexually intimate in the bathroom, that they were definitely going to air it. So people were avoiding. I'm like, you're giving us little hints as to why people were avoiding that bathroom, because So yeah, he said that, and then both of them denied not knowing what happened. Now we entered Kaisha and Neo. Remember that when Tolani Baj was arguing with V, she said that, oh, Neo, that Neo had eyes on her. Neo was denying it, and then she was like, oh, but you had eyes on Kaisha as well, and everybody knew that, and you were flirting with Kaisha, and this baby's here deceiving herself that, oh, that you're her man and stuff like that. I'm just like, hey, buzz. So when she said that, Ebuka brought up the whole Kaisha and V thing, and Kaisha was like, so Neo told me that he liked me. Neo told me that he liked me, and you know, I couldn't understand. Like, I liked him too, but he was making moves on me, and when I noticed that, oh, he was with V, I kind of backed out because I didn't want to be a second option, and he's a liar, so I don't have feelings for him anymore. She expressly said, he's a liar, I don't have feelings for him anymore. He tried to play 2 girls, and I'm not comfortable with that. And then she cited 3 instances when Neo was giving her the green light. First, she said that when they were at a party, one Saturday night party, that Neo asked her to kiss him, but she said she wasn't going to. Then the second time, she was with Ozo and Dorothy, and Neo came and kissed her forehead. I'm like, it would be nice to play these clips, because Kaisha sounded so convinced and convincing, to be honest. She was convinced and convincing, and Neo was just there like, no, I didn't do that. And Neo has been denying liking every other person in the house. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. So she said that the last one was where Neo told her that he liked the way she was looking at him, and it made him hard. I'm like, okay, things are getting really sticky. Things are getting really, really sticky here. So V had to come in the middle of that. She's like, first of all, I knew that Neo liked V. So she was like, initially she didn't notice that. First of all, she was like, V said Kaisha didn't owe her any loyalty, so she doesn't feel bad, or she doesn't feel some type of way with what was going on. But she didn't notice that Kaisha, like, because Kaisha admitted, she was like, I liked him, I did, and I would have pursued something with him, but things were just not adding up. His behavior was not connecting. So she said that, that was V now saying that she didn't notice that Kaisha even likes V, but every other person in the house seemed to. Kaisha liked Neo, but every other person in the house seemed to notice, and she felt like Neo did not tell her because he liked Kaisha as well. She felt like if Neo did not like Kaisha, he would have mentioned it, like, babe, this baby's feeling me, like, let's do that catch cruise, that kind of vibe. So she said all that to prove Tolani Baj, like, to make Tolani Baj feel like, because Tolani Baj was like, I said it, that kind of vibe. So V was saying that to kind of save her face. In my opinion, she was trying to save face. So she's like, oh, well, so I don't know why somebody's celebrating, like, Kaisha doesn't owe me loyalty. And I also felt like Neo liked Nengi at some point. He was attracted to Nengi and Kaisha, so that's what men do. I'm like, what we're not going to do is excuse rubbish behavior and say that's what men do. We are not going to do that, because if we're having eyes on other guys, will he be comfortable as well? If he will be, then yes, you can excuse it. But I felt like that was an attempt to save face, because it now seemed like Tolani Baj was having the upper hand at this point. So she said that, and Kaisha was so angry, and she was like, she was talking to Neo now, and she's like, you're a liar. Do you want to deny that you never said he likes me? And Neo was like, I never said that. It's not my fault. I'm a fine boy. You like me. I'm just like, bro, really? So yeah, he said that, and Kaisha was so upset. She's like, I was dancing with you, I had a hard on, so what are you saying? She was just talking, and then Kaisha was like, V, I respect you, but I just want to tell you that Neo once told me that if you did not approach him first, he wouldn't be with you. So basically, he was saying that he was with V because V made the first move. And V didn't hide it. She was very open about it, that she liked Neo and she made the first move. So Kaisha saying that, V was like, yeah, I made the first move. I'm not denying that. Ebuka was like, yeah, she's not denying it. But Kaisha was like, yeah, I get that. But he was also telling me, like, it's a bit disrespectful that he was telling me that if you didn't make the first move, he wouldn't be with you. So it was like he settled for you. Now, Neo denies having anything with Kaisha. He was just like, what are you talking about, sis? And then at this point, Kaisha is livid. She's angry. So she was walking. She actually walked out. Like, I was like... So she walked out. But before she walked out, she was like, Neo, you're lying. You're a liar. You know, stuff. And Neo was like, but I don't like you. So out of anger, she told Vivi, babe, you need to be careful because this Neo guy is bad for you and you will regret being with him. He's a liar, he's a corny person. Like, she just said what she wanted to say and then she walked out. Then they now showed us the backstage where people were going to talk to her. She was talking to Eric, she was talking to Prince, and she kind of was letting off her anger because it seemed like Kaisha seems like someone that can do things when she's angry, so she needed to blow that steam off. So she walked out, and Neo was busy defending himself and saying, oh, Kaisha told me that I'm fine, she was feeling me, you know. And then about the whole hard-on thing, if it's the size, it's the size. I'm like, bro, please cut it. Which one, if it's the size, it's the size. Did you or did you not have an erection? It's a simple question. Which one is, oh, you were feeling something, it's the size, it's not my fault. I'm just like, So anyway, Katrina now came in and said, oh, Kaisha actually told me that Neo belongs to nobody, and if she wanted to if she wanted him, she would have made a move on him and stuff like that. I'm just like, yeah. So at this point, Kaisha comes back in because people had pacified her, and then she came in and she sat down and she's like, this Neo, you're a liar. She kept on saying that you're a liar, and she was so convinced. And then Katrina was also kind of backing her, you know, and everybody in the house was, it looks like they were in support of Kaisha because they were not refuting anything she was saying. They were not butting it. They were not really saying much. It was just Neo and Kaisha. And also, V mentioned that she knew that everybody in the house knew that Neo likes Kaisha except her. So I think she kind of came to terms with the fact she knew as well that her guy was having eyes on somebody else. So Kaisha came in and then she's like, V, I respect you, but you really have to be careful with this guy. You have to be careful with this guy because he's a terrible person. I'm like, okay. So while that ended, that steam cooled off, we now moved on to Lilo and Eric. I'm like, why did we wait so long to come to our favorite couple? Now, talking about it, it was very brief, and I feel like we still have more to explore with that. It was very brief, and Lilo was like, oh, coming out of the house, that she said that she felt like Eric took advantage of the fact that she likes him because she actually liked him at a point. And then they were playing clips of both of them having conversations where Lilo was saying that she could leave her boyfriend for him or not, depending. And there were just, you know, different clips of them being intimate and stuff. So she said, when she said that, Ebuka was like, that was not exactly what she said. And Eric was like, yeah, I agree that you said I felt like he took advantage of me, not that he took advantage of the fact that I liked him. Well, Lilo insisted that was what she said, but Ebuka and Eric were like, no, you said he took advantage of me. Now, Eric was like, oh, he didn't really have a problem with Neo. He didn't want to listen to the rumors. He wanted to talk to her first. And then he called her, and Lilo was acting up. She was being defensive and saying, go and watch the clips before you come ask me with what you heard. That he didn't like that she kind of switched up on him and started blaming him for something that was consensual. And Lilo was like, I asked him to watch the clip. I wasn't being defensive. And Eric was like, So where things really went off was when we had an interview together, and then Lilo came like she wanted to win. I'm like, please allow the girl to be glam, because we all know that Lilo likes to be glam. She has a glam squad. So Eric was saying that she came for the interview about a week after both of them left, and she came for the interview with, they had an interview together. I'm assuming it's that ships unlocked thing that they were doing for all the ships in the house, and that she came with a glam squad. Somebody was fanning her, someone was combing her hair, and that she came as though she wanted to win. I'm like, well, is she coming to lose? So Eric was like, she came like she was competing, like she wanted to win the interview, and I don't understand why she did that. I'm like, okay. So Ebuka asked Lilo, so did you want to pursue something with him in the house? And she was like, a lot already happened. She was talking about a conversation that Eric had, saying he would kill someone, take somebody home to mom, and she wasn't comfortable with that. So she already zeroed her mind before he even came out on having a relationship with her. I'm just like, oh, with him, I beg your pardon. I'm just like, guys. So yeah, there we have it. That was where we drew the curtain. But there was a fan question, so I was really scared because this is just episode 5, and then we are seeing Ebuka saying thank you so much for coming. I'm like, is this the end? This can't be the end now. This cannot be the end. So it was just to have a fan question. So this fan asked Lekon how his music was doing. Lekon answered saying he was doing well. His EP that he dropped before he went into the house now has about 30 million streams, which was really big for him because before going into the house he had 100,000 streams, and he was just generally happy, good vibes. Then Ebuka kind of calmed me down when he said, okay guys, see you on the next episode. I'm like, thank God, because we cannot end here. There's so much we need to explore. So there we have it. Thank you so much for joining this update. I hope you had fun. Please drop your comments on what happened, because especially that video with Nengi and Kiddwaya, I really want to know what you guys thought about it, because it was a lot. It was a whole lot, I tell you. So let me know what you thought about it, or any other thing that we mentioned here, the Lilo and Eric situation, Kaisha and Neo. Let me know what you think about it. And until next time, this is brought to you by every NG, and my name is Judith. Bye.